Welcome here to the PGG Wrightson Junior Shearing Elimination Rounds. Heat number 1 on the board now. From Hastings, we've got Jade Crystal on the front stand. Faridna Turner on from Payatur on stand number 2. Dawn Gook from Payatur on stand number 3. Brian Henson from Ekatahuna just up the road here on stand number 4. Matt McRae from Masterton on number 5. And all the way from the Emerald Isles of Ireland, Carol Devaney. So let's see these young competitors go. 3 sheep to compete over. And a nice warm afternoon here in Masterton for 2014 as they complete the pressing down there in this heat. And just wait on Coro, he'll give us a bail weight very shortly, but a big welcome.
Thank you, John. Well, we got Sarah Jane. We had 162 kilos by the Woolen lady. Probably 12 kilos over the weight, desired weight. We're going to go to Sarah Jane. And Sarah, what do you reckon the weight is?
Under 150?
She reckons it's under 150. Well, that's the godfather. That's the one that's going to tell us. So we'll put it on the weight and see how it goes. She's standing there like a cowboy. You know, she's a blinking cowcocky, this lady. Well, Sarah, all the best. And let's weigh this bale up, boys. Let's have a go. Bring it onto the scale. Drum roll. Here we go, Sarah Jane. The weight is 163 kilos. Oh, you had too much wheat picks this morning, girl. You were too strong. Give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen, the wool pressers. We're going to come back to the wool pressing in about an hour and give the wool pressing judges and the girls and boys a little bit of a lunch. John, the afternoon. John and Gerald, the afternoon is your guys.
Right, we just had a sheep change there. The sheep number 2 on the board from Hanson on stand number 4. And for those that have just come into the stadium here, of course, we've got the big screen up there above the shears. And the first column is the time points. That's calculated at 20 seconds per point. The next is the amount of quality on the board. That's the number of second cuts to the wool fibre. And that is divided, the number of second cuts in total is divided by the number of sheep that is shorn. Outside is the pen points where the judges look at the finished product. And once again, the total number is divided by the sheep shorn outside. And of course, we have the total. And when those yellow figures come up, Gerald, we'll move on to the next heat. That'll be the total for that shearer. And that's the best he's going to do here today. And he hopes it's good enough to make those later on elimination rounds here at the Golden Shears for 2014. So quality of shearing might pick up a little bit now, Gerald. We've gone past the novice stage. These are the juniors starting to earn a few dollars at the game. And we wish them all the best as the first of many shearers to have a go here in the junior class.
Yeah, very much so, John. You can see there's a whole lot more rhythm arriving, even though we're still on the juniors at this stage. And there is no gimmies here in the Golden Shears. We've got 11 heats of this, folks. So there's 66 of these shears, and we've got to get down to the semi-finals. So they need a good shear to make sure they're going to make that top cut. And they will be hungry for it. You only get the one smack at the Golden Shears. You only get the one smack to have yourself recorded in this book here I'm holding in my hand for years to come as the champion of the Golden Shears here in the junior ranks. So they would have been training pretty hard mentally and physically over the last while around the North Island circuit and the Southern circuit down in the deep south there as well. Getting a feel, they'll have a bit of an idea of, you know, who's on song, who's been going well this season. They would have come up against them before now. However, there will be the other side of that coin, and that is literally that because they're juniors, they don't do as much travelling as some of the higher grades. So you'll find that some of these juniors are coming up against juniors they've never shorn against before, an unknown. They may have seen it on the net. They might have think, well, so-and-so won such and such a show on the North Island, so forth and so forth. He may have won 2 or 3, but I've never shorn beside him. He's an unknown really, apart from he's going good. So yeah, lots of facets, but the big one is, and again, the strength of the industry, we've got 66 of these juniors here today. So great stuff. So don't be frightened to encourage them along, because we've got to cut the 66 down to the semi-final. And they are hungry for it. 3 sheep to be shorn, PGG Wrightson sponsored event. Make sure you can support them if you possibly can, and if you want to do so and you've got some cash in your pocket, there's a PG stall just out the back here behind the big Farmlands banner. Shouldn't possibly put those two in the same sentence if I was right on my toes. But let's, and that back wall there behind those presses, PGG Wrightson's tent there with shearing gear and the likes. So you can go out there and then buy a bit of gear and have a bit of a chat. Otherwise, hey, if you're a farmer in the crowd or whatever, go to the local store, not hard to support. All right, but please let them know you're aware that they are sponsoring and helping out the junior grade at the Golden Shears here in the Wairarapa. Talking about that, you didn't have to wait long, did we? What's the running time there? Brian Hanson, let's look upstairs to get a bit of an idea how he's going. It's only blue at this stage, 32.1. If you've got your little book, start writing these down, ladies and gentlemen. You can make it exciting for yourself. Okay, so 32.1. When they're all yellow, you'll know who the best is in this heat, and you can follow it through, and it will get exciting if you do so. And you'll be ahead of the 8 ball. So pen on paper. It's literally for you good folk in the audience, and thanks very much for coming along and supporting the shears as well. Okay, these shearers love showing off. They like to get up there in front of you guys. They're nervous, sure they are, but they do like getting up there.
I don't know about that. We've got a fella down the far end's turned his back on us.
Oh yes, that's another story, the left-hand story, isn't it?
Oh, he's going after the famous Colin King, the legendary Colin King, who shore on that stand for many years.
Yes, he actually won one year. Oh, of course, he always shore on that stand, didn't he? Of course. Anyway, he's from Ireland, so that might be that Northern Hemisphere thing, eh, where it's going the other way. But the truth of the fact is...
where the sun comes up in the west.
Yeah. Where you normally suffer a massive jet lag. And it is the joys. We can be... us Kiwis can be standing in the UK in 27 hours, but it wasn't always like that, and there were some real hardy shearers that took the boat. A very good mate of mine, JJ Kringle, was still involved with our show down in Invercargill. When he went over, he was on a boat, okay, up and down the Suez Canal and Panama Canal, 6 weeks to get to the UK to shear sheep. So if that's not commitment, I don't know what is, but a lot of shearers have done that. Kevin McKellen's another, Jock Walker was another from down here way. Took the boat. The world's a bit smaller now. You jump on the plane and you can be shearing sheep within a day and a half.
Yeah, well, I think they might have needed to shear twice as many by the time they got there, because the boat trip might have been a little bit expensive. As they rock on out that last leg down on stands 5 and 6, get the job done and go for the time button. The red button on the side of the shearer stand. You are responsible for your own time, of course. And around the back of the head here, because Foddy doing pretty well here on the second stand, dropping into the front shoulder now. He knows the time clock's against him, but he's got to shear within his own means. And he's into the long blow. This is just heat 1 of the PGG Wrightson elimination heats. Then we'll hopefully heat 2 is sitting down on the left of the stage. Because if you're not, we won't be waiting for you. Time comes over the last side now and clears off the last cheek. A lot of wool on these sheep this year. It's been a good summer in the Wairarapa, and they've really enjoyed the good growth conditions. As he comes down the last side, the young man from Paeatua, or maybe not so young, but he's got the job looking pretty good, still holding the quality. You'll notice that earlier in the piece we weren't having any pen sheep being judged outside, but now, of course, we're getting bigger sheep numbers. They're judging as soon as there's a sheep in the bottom of the chute, they start judging, and the points are coming forward for every second. Righto, that's heat 1 out of the road. Turn your button off, that's the story. And our shearers, will you move off to the left, and we'll have our next heat on from the right, please, gentlemen.
Okay, John, thank you. Heat 2, please. Stand 1, David Kirkpatrick. Tom Hall on 2. Josh Harding shearing on 3. Toby Wickham, stand 4. Kurt Portis on stand 5. Lionel Talmata on stand 6. Heat 3, competitors be ready. Vinny Goodyear, Jeremy Goodyer, Hayden Sargent, Daniel Seed, Angus Brown, Chris Sandel. Just a call, please. Chris Duncan, Jaden Mason. Those two competitors, if you're in the stadium, want to see you, please. Let us know you're here. Register and get a t-shirt, singlet. It's Chris Duncan, Jaden Mason, two competitors in the junior shearing.
So these sheep have been well selected. They're well grown by the farmer, well crutched out by all the people. Could we have the shearers on the board, please? You can't tell over the pen what it's going to shear like. You've had a quick squiz outside. We have a green light. Referee happy. Timekeepers are good. Judges, competitors, go. In the door they go. Hey, crikey. Just no stopping these young fellas. They just want to get in there and do well. They've paid their money. They want to get that big purple ribbon here. The Golden Shears for 2014 Junior Final. That's what the aim is at the moment. There's about 60 odd shearers have the same idea, so it's really, really going to be tough. You've got to be on your mettle. And starting right with that first brisket blow. Settled, calm, easy, keep that nice and flat on the skin. And as you're working through your sheep number, you get faster and faster. Well, that's the general aim of the game. Some shearers, of course, like to bounce out from the word go, but when you've got a limited sheep number, you just need to settle into the job first and keep the quality right. There's around the back of the head and down towards the first shoulder goes stand number 4. Then we've got Toby Wickham. Toby's from Masterton. We've got Kurt Portis on stand number 5 there. On stand number 6, Lionel Taumata. Crikey, big strong young fellas down on the far end. Josh Harding's on number 3. Steps up the neck now, Tom Hall. So that Tom T. Hall. Around the back of the head he goes. Keeping the job, sweet for the judges. David Kirkpatrick on the front here. From Gisborne. Where else would he be from? Those that spread the field of from where these guys are. We've got Gisborne, Fielding, Hunterville. Down there we've got Masterton, Vinnieroa. And down the far end, Lionel Taumata coming across the shoulder. He's right on the money, but the pace at the middle of the moment comes from Toby Wickham. Gerald, he's smoked that one out and got it just on 2 minutes.
2 minutes and 8, yeah, and it was nice and clean too. You get a bit of an eye for the old sheep from here. As an announcer, it's one of the joys of announcing is the fact you do normally get the best seat in the house. But yeah, looked nice and clean from here by Jolly did. He's hungry for that win, I was talking about, or at least the semi-finals at this stage. I was discussing earlier. But that one there, as you can see, it's giving him a highly big indication that she's thinking about giving him a bit of jippo. He's trying to keep it moving. That is one way to keep a sheep settled, and let's keep it moving. Give it something else to think about. A bit of distraction is what you need. As he steps up, brings the elbow in, under there, up the neck he goes, fires one into the base of the ear. What's happening down beside him there and stand up? Fine. Top knot's gone there. He lines up the neck. That's a very, well, you regard it as sort of like a dangerous blow when you're a junior, because you can't see any part of your handpiece apart from your tension knob is when you're going up the neck. And of course the neck in anyone's psyche is sort of like a dangerous area, isn't it? Of course, with massive blood veins going up there. And it's always a nerve-wracking place to go when you're shearing any time, is up that neck when you can't see where you're going. And if you do a bit of a cut, it can look a little bit nasty, not so good. But he's been there and done that. But at this stage, on and out the last side goes Wickham on stand 4. Putting a heap of weight on the left hand there and getting that back leg nice and straight so the handpiece can roll right out to the toenail. 2 out of the way. In he dives for number 3. What's the running time now? 3 minutes 48. He banged that one out in a minute 40. This is the junior heats, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting to heat up already. Woohoo, this is all good. We've still got a few spare seats here. I can see they're going to fill up if we're going to get action like this in the junior grade. Into the Valley Wool he goes. Let's look along. What else is going on? Tua Tamata down to the bottom stand. Pivots that one. Starts getting ready to lie it down for the long blow. Long blow time for the, wow, very, very common shearing name, of course, Kirkpatrick on the front stand here. From Fielding, Hall, he's up the neck. Fires two and then one into the base of the ear. Doing a bit of improvising there. She's just not quite stretching out quite like he would like it. So he's doing, just shearing her, you know, as it lies, as if to say, a bit like a ram. You don't worry about position or anything with a ram. If it's going to sit in one place, you just keep on shearing it. Get as much off as you can. Work the rest out as you go. That's what he's doing, but he's starting to get a position back now as he's starting to line up the long blow. He puts in the 1, 2 small ones for Hall on stand 2, and then he throws a leg over. He actually put 4 or 5 in there. He is really improvising with this one here. But they are junior shearers, ladies and gentlemen, so some of them be full-time, some of them are just above the novice grade, so they're just doing the odd day here and there, and probably spending a bit of time on the press, a bit of time on the broom, all those bits and pieces that you do before you can get a stand. Why can't you get a stand straight away? Well, sometimes it's just difficult. The farmer wants the sheep shorn, the contractor makes money by, you know, sheep numbers going out the door, so somehow you've got to get that break. Someone's got to give you that break so that you can get that stand, you can get some numbers going. The contractor's good enough to give you some space, and then of course your numbers will come up and everything's good. Farmer's happy, contractor's good, you're making money and having fun. Right, talking about having fun, I would say the local boy, Wickham, all the way from right here at Masterton. He's one of your own. He's had a good shear, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That's the story. Give him a wee round of applause. He's shorn very, very well. Right, let's look upstairs. Harding, he's wrapped up as well. No, one to go.
He just got a little
Just
bit of
doing a bit of a handpiece change.
He got a little bit of a jump on the field, didn't he, the Masterton man, Wickham? But
very much so.
The quality's still hanging in there from the rest of them. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Down the last side comes stand 5. Come on, Kirk, keep it nice and flat. Into the long blow now comes Lionel Tamata. Dropping into that where he turns the sheep away from the audience. Down into that difficult part, that first shoulder. Last side coming up, Kirkpatrick from Gisborne on the front here. Tom Hall up around the back of the head. He's had one that put him up against the porthole before, but it's all about shifting the feet at the right time. Completing the task down there is Kurt Bloody Porter. He's up over the top there on stand number 3. Around the back of the head he's about to come. Down here on the stand number 2, Tom Hall. Into the long blow. Moving his sheep. He's learned from that last one. Let's keep rocking that sheep now. There'll be about a half a metre circle up there on the board when those open shearers get up there later on in the program, and they will sit in that half metre circle and work their sheep around it so they don't outstretch the dropper arm from the machine, and also keeps them nice in line for the porthole, which is, don't want the sheep putting its head round the side. Is down the last side now on stand number 6. Talmata putting the finishing blows in. Hall coming across the shoulder from Fielding. He'll be starting to sweat up there now under the big hot lights here at the Masterton Stadium. Turning for home is Josh Harding. He's had a good shear, a little bit back off the pace, of course. But over the shoulder on the last side. Hall has let this one almost go now. Out the last leg he comes. Doing a pretty good job, but the quality's still good there on stand number 3.
Yeah, looking up here, John. Tamata. Push the red button 10 or 20 seconds ago. 29.1, folks. That's the accumulation of points up there.
Well, a 2.7 second cut on over 3 sheep,
yeah.
So he kept it down below the 3 mark.
Yeah. some of the judging out the back you saw on the big screen there.
Thank you, fellas. That concludes Heat 2 of the Junior Championship. Heat 3. We'll have competitors on the board now, please. Stand 1, Vinnie Goodyear. Jeremy Goodyear on 2. Hayden Sargent on stand 3. Daniel Seed shearing on 4. Angus Brown on 5. And Chris Sandel shearing on stand 6. Heat 4. Russell Mason. Carlton Aranui, Hemi Lambert, Andrew Moore, Michael Osborne, Peter Phillips.
So things are ticking along, and the President's just making sure we're all ticking the boxes here. Mr. Philip Morrison walks past with his stock whip. We're keeping things moving along to timetable, we hope. I know we can set out a timetable at the beginning of the day, but sometimes it can get stretched, so we'd just like the shearers now to make sure that they stay with us, and we have a green light. So stay with the time frame and we're away. Chief referee says we're good. Okay, everybody happy. Timekeepers right. Judges. Competitors, go. We're off and moving once again. A little bit more local talent. Vinnie Goodyear on the front here. Jeremy Goodyear, the brothers are going for it. What happened to the rest of them? They'd fill up half the stands here if we got them all up together. Hayden Stewart from Masterton. Daniel C. from Woodville. Also from Woodville, Angus Brown. Chris Sandel from Masterton. She's pretty much a Wairarapa sort of a jobby, isn't it?
She's a local derby, I suppose you want to call it. Yes, just keep an eye on before that score of Lionel Tuamata was a 31, so he had a very, very good shear on that last heat down on the bottom stand there. Again, it all come down to quality. So that's what it's all about. It's sorted and organised to make sure that the quality is more important and well placed, well and truly before the speed starts to coming into it. Right, talking about a wee bit of speed though, because it still does play some part. And what's going on here? Round the back of the ears goes Sargent, right smack in the middle there. That's a good place to be. You can have a wee glance when you hit the long blow and you're starting to get rid of a few. You can have a bit of a look behind you and a little bit of a look in front of you just to see what everyone else is up to. So he's right in amongst the action there. Seed beside him on stand 4. Round towards the long blow he goes. And great to see the numbers here, but just I tell you what, being part of a committee down the deep south there, running the New Zealand Crossbred Lamb Shearing Champs out of the Winton AMP show, if you possibly get a chance as a shearer and wool handler, it makes it a whole lot easier for a committee if you enter. Okay, we'll take entries on the days because that's just how it rolls, but if you can enter, it does make our show run on time a whole lot easier. And we have a fair idea of the amount of sheep we need to crutch up and all those sort of anomalies that come into play when we know how many shearers and wool handlers we're going to get. And I'll tell you someone who commits to it, and that's Johnny Kirkpatrick. Johnny Kirkpatrick is an open, well, I don't have to explain who he is, everyone knows who he is. But he enters our show at Winton every year before he leaves and pays the entry fee. He's a man who's committed, but he also helps out in the running the show. We know he's going to be there, and he's part of the numbers. So if you do get a chance, please get involved in helping running these shows. We want them all to keep going, and we want them to be on time and action-packed for the audience. We want it on time and action-packed for you and your friends. So, yeah, please, make sure you make the entry so we know you're going to turn up here. Makes it a whole lot easier. Right, turning up the speed. Into the belly wall, go Seed. Stand 4 there, sheep 2 on the board. And he would be about placed there about second. Man in the front is Sargent on the third stand, up the undermine, the world famous big shot. The late Murray Christie used to love that throw that big bog iron right up under that leg, way, way up, as far as you can go. The joys of shearing as sheep, folks, is there's a hole. You've got one hole, you've got to shear. Okay? So if you start taking shortcuts on the first half, I'm afraid to say, but she's going to be a long, arduous, slow second half, because it's got to come off. Well, those judges out the back that you saw on the camera before are going to nail you, and you're not going to make the semi. So you've got to do it correctly as you go. You can get in a bit of a rush sometimes, think, oh, Charlie, I'll take a bit of a shortcut there and I'll do a bit of this and a bit of that. But when it comes to the last side, you've left a bit on and she gets away and all those scenarios. So you've got to try just to stay calm and collective and just work your way and put the shots where they're supposed to go. Off for the top knot for seed. Oh, she's all good stuff, John. We've got so much of it to come yet. 11 heats of this, we're on heat 3. It's just action-packed.
Yeah, certainly working away at their job. These two Goodyear brothers on the front stands here, Vinny and Jeremy. Well, they'll be in that triathlon event where they do a bit of wool handling and a bit of pressing, as well as the shearing. And that is a $500 prize money for that, they tell me. So they're doing their part for it here now, and they come down up the undermine. Big long blows there from Jeremy. He steps forward up the neck. Then he's just a tad ahead of him. Hayden Sargent from Masterton, local man, rolls out that last leg. Keeps put plenty of blows in. Should have got it with one, put in 3. But that's what happens in the junior competition. Daniels C from Woodville. Into the long blow he goes. He's on sheep number 2. Under the shoulder and down and out to the flank for Angus Brown. Chris Sandel right with him down there on stand number 6. Looking to readjust his sheep as Angus. He says, crikey, that big strong sheep, let's get this Masterton head out here. Show yourself off to the crowd, darling. Rocks out that last leg down. Change a sheep for Chris Sandel. But the pace is all on here from Sargent from Masterton on stand number 3. Up the first off leg he goes. Look at him putting in the big shots down to the middle of the backbone. All the way. 1, 2, up over the tail, 2 off the top knot. Didn't quite go out to the ear, so he's got a little bit of fluff to chase there a little bit later on. Tried a little bit of a shortcut. Doesn't need to. He's well out in front in this one. But the good ears coming over the last side here. Hey, big brother Jeremy says, listen here, bro, I'm still with you. I'm right there. I beat you in the pressing, in the elimination rounds. Can I beat you here in the shearing as well? But it's good family feud, eh? All good banter. Then he drops out sheep number 2, 1 left in the pen. But it's still Sargent out in front. Hog in the long light. Daniel Seed's got 1 in the pen now. Stretches in for just a very slight sort of a shearer. Has a quick look down the board. Haven't got time for that. Daniel, get on with the job, mate. Then goes big Jeremy. Hey, the quality's all there. 2.3, 3.3, 3.3, 3.3. Is there any advance on 3.3? Oh, yes, we got a 6.7. And then back to a 2. So looking pretty sharp up there in the quality stakes on the board, Jerry. And we hope they can maintain that standard right throughout.
Yeah, it definitely is, John. I was just watching the points roll over. It's so good even for us. And I've been to a number of shows, but it's just up there. It's bright. You can see it. It's right in front of you, and you can just watch it all go through. And you can just see how they're going. All right, we've got the speed. We know all about that. That's happening right now. We're talking about speed. Sargent's the first man on and off in this heat. But it comes down to these other 2 factors. And the penalty boards, that's inside here, and the pens the outside. And the time, well, it's an accumulation of 1 point every 20 seconds. So, yeah, adds a whole lot more flavour to the thing. You can just take a bit of a glance up there and say, well, okay, they're going pretty fast, but they're just leaving a bit much on, which can happen. So it's all good. Now, you've just arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Where is this show up to? Well, we've had lots and lots of action here today at the Golden Shears, as we would expect. We've had some wool pressing here in the single mans. We're halfway through the single ladies. We've got some more wool pressing arriving soon after a bit of smoko. We've done some novice shearing. We've done some novice wool handling, sponsored by Texture. Now we've got the junior shearers up here now. Okay, so a lot of action. We're on to heat 3 and we've got 11 to run. So right at the moment, that's where we're at, and the pressing will be starting soon. So lots of action happening here today. Beautiful day outside. Us Southerners, we don't take hot days for granted down in the deep south where I come from, way down beside TY aluminium spouter in the world famous Waituna Lagoon. For water quality, that's where I live down there, so we've got a few issues going on down there. But yeah, a day like this, we talk about it. We say, wow, what a beautiful day this is. Wow. Might be more just standard for you guys, but she's a beautiful bonzer day out there. The grease in the sheep, you know, in the wool, there's lanolin in the wool. The heat of this will make it nice and soft, which makes them comb better. The cutter doesn't sort of so-called bite or chew as much on the wool. It runs smoother, which makes them easier shearing. So the juniors will be enjoying that. By jolly they will. One of the brothers is finished. You're going to give big brother a bit of a nod and say, oh, I'm in about 4 or 5 blows ahead of you. Heat 3, that's Sergeant. He's wrapped up as well. Or Seed, sorry.
Yeah, they're all just waiting on Jerry to get those last few shots in. The sheep hasn't been very kind down that last side.
He's got the heat up now.
He's working away. Time gone, 9 minutes, just at 9.5, so he knows that clock's going against him, but hey, the quality's still pretty much there anyway. Well done. We'll move off to the right gentleman, please. Thank you for your expertise up there. We'll have the next 6 shearers on, please.
Thank you, John. Heat 4, Junior Shearing Championship, stand 1, Russell Mason. Carlton Aranui on 2, Hemi Lambert on 3, Andrew Moore shearing on stand 4, Michael Osborne on 5, and Heta Phillips shearing on stand 6. Heat 5, Andrew Hemi, Wuramu Rangawai, James McKenzie, Nick Greaves, Caesar Iraha, Jared McIntosh. $11 heats of shearing in the Junior Championship. This will be followed by our novice shearing semi-final, I'm sorry.
A bit of international flavour about this event. We've got stand number 1. We've got a man from a US of A. Also from the Isle of Man, down on stand 5. So good to see they're out here trying their skills. Way back in the late 70s, early 80s, troops of the UK shearers come across and learnt their trade here in New Zealand. And certainly have taken it back throughout the world along with the Kiwi travelling shearers to improve the standard of shearing right throughout the globe. So we've got all the shearers on the board, just waiting on the upstairs. There will be some pressing shortly. I believe they're coming back in about an hour's time. Okay, we have a green light. On the board, please. Everybody's happy. Timekeeper's good. Judges, competitors, go. Head to Phillips down there on stand number 6. Hey, sneaks into the pen from Greytown, just down the road. Michael Osborne from Isle of Man on stand number 5. From Upper Hutt, we've got Andrew Moore. Just checks his handpiece tension and throws it back into the belly wool again. Hemi Lambert from Raupanga on stand number 3. Also from Raupanga, Carlton Aranui. Free hand, easy wrist, and rocks up over the undermine now. Russell Mason from US of A. Shearing here on the number 1. Big, tall, lean fella too, by golly. He'll be able to get round these Wairarapa sheep. Big, long arms. can use a little bit of an advantage just stretching around these big strong mothers or mothers to be. Down onto the first shoulder now. Lambert looks like he might be leading the way slightly, or maybe Phillips down there on the far end, closely here by Aranui on stand number 2. Putting close, these guys are firing it into the first one. Not that sharp a pace, but they're all sticking together pretty much. They'll get faster as they get closer to the finish line. Down the last side now for Hetta Phillips. Almost local, just down the road in Greytown, across the shoulder. Russell on stand number 1. Mason across, look at him, comes across that shoulder now. Over the shoulder, he got good control there. Hope I don't put the commentators cursing him. Sometimes you're a bit like the old rugby commentators. You're going to kick a goal and then, oops, the old commentator puts a curse on him. But they're shearing very, very well. And I like watch work. I can watch it all day. So we'll certainly push these guys along, Gerald, and make sure they're going to entertain the crowd that's here this afternoon.
Yeah, very much so. But you can watch it all day and every day. It's an unusual thing as a farmer when you walk into a shearing shed and you got the contractors in and the ghetto blast of the stereo pumping away there and banging the sounds out. The old hunterways out the back with the presser and barking and carrying on and panning up the sheep. And then the wool handlers are working away and the shearers are pumping away. And you just think, I'll just shoot in there. I've got a very busy day on getting these sheep organised for these shearers and doing whatever I'm doing, drenching the lambs or whatever. I'll shoot in, just make sure everything's all right for a wee second or two. Well, you sneak inside the door and you put your arms on a bale, and then next minute you look at your clock and by jolly, I've been there for an hour and a quarter. There's just something about the shearing of the sheep. The honest day's work, it's mesmerising. You just sort of settle in, you think, oh, well, you don't think. You just keep on watching. It's just poetry in motion. Unbelievable. Talking about motion, there's all these different styles. We've got Mason from the USA. Now, he'll have what you've got to do as a shearer, you've got to be able to adapt to your own physique. Okay, and you'll see that the shorter shearer gets in nice and close to the ewe. Okay, they're really sort of snuggled in there, like Lambert on stand 3 there. They get in nice and close. They're a bit like Alan McDonald used to do, because that's just their wheelbase. Okay, they're a bit shorter. Where the big tall fellas, they sort of have the animals sitting on their moccasins, and they have the privilege of basically swinging the big arm. However, when it comes to smaller animals, and you are a big tall fella, when it comes to shearing lambs, sometimes you can struggle because you've got nothing to lean on, nothing to hold your own body weight up, and the lamb is a long way down, sitting on your box, and it looks forever down there like a Grand Canyon, thinking, wow, how am I going to hold on to this wriggly little thing? Whereas a shorter person can really be down there with them and hoe into them and enjoy them. So lots of different styles of shearing sheep. The system of blows is all the same, but you just got to adapt the rest to yourself and what your strengths and weaknesses are. And that's just how it goes. But you will, and the other thing that sort of happens, folks, and you'll see this as the days go on, if it's shearing game's a wee bit new to you. Some shearers, especially the tall fellas, the big tall fellas, whether they're thick set or lightly built, they look like they're not going very fast. Well, it's an optical illusion really. It's just their size makes them look like that, because you'll find out they're still banging them out, but it's just their size, and they pull that comb line up and they sort of just float along there waving an arm. The body's not moving and the wool's still coming off. So I've shown with a few sheep shearers like that in the shed, where you think, oh, I'll give this fella a bit of a tidy up, he's not travelling very quick, until you look at the tally card at the end of the run and think, whoa, jolly, okay, he didn't look like he's going very fast, but by jolly, he's getting rid of some sheep. Right, who's that? Lambert. In he goes. These boys, Aranui and Lambert, they are here and they're serious, because they were down at the Southern Shears about 10 days ago, these two young lads, to get the feel of what's happening around the place. So here they are at the Golden Shears now, hunting for that semi-final spot that I discussed earlier. Right, who's got number 3 on the board? Down on the bottom stand, that's number 3. Moore, it's got 3. The whole lot have got 3 out now. They're on their last and final one. The front man, who is the rabbit of the field? Let's look upstairs for a start, just have a look. We've got Phillips. How's he going? He's got a 40.4 at this stage of total points. but out front for the speed. Brushes the cheek wall off the far side, starts his journey home first in this heat. Into the belly wall. Goes stand 5. Osborne with a 34.6 up there. Work in the left hand as one should. It does all the work and sets all the skin and everything up underneath that wall for the handpiece hand and the comb and cutter. Round towards the long blow. Moore goes, pivots it round. Look at that, just look at that, isn't that beautiful? Bit of wool hanging off the leg, and away he goes. Those wee short ones are now on those big long ones. Chucks the leg over, locks her up, and starts pulling that head round. There's the man, Phillips. Red button time for him, that'll stop the clock.
Hit your button, hitter. Hit your button, hitter. Hit your button.
Mr. Phillips, stand 6, hit your button. Button. Has he got it yet?
Hit your button.
Yeah, don't forget, Junior boys, you've got to stop your own clock.
Okay, we're back here. I mean, just thinking about while these shearers are coming down the last side, and Mason gets his job done here. We were talking about Alan McDonald, how he used to get right down over his sheep. What he didn't tell you was that Alan had long hair in those days, and he used to get it in front of his handpiece so the judge couldn't see the second cuts coming off. He kept his body going on this all the time, and it bamboozled the judges, although he did get pinged now and again. So, but anyway, back Andrew Moore's now completed the task, and he's got past Hemi Lambert. He had a good first sheep, but he's just battled a little bit on this last couple. They've taught him a little bit of a lesson. They said, you got to hang on to me, young fella. Oh, he'll be downtown with the rest of the girls. Out the last leg now for Carlton Aranui. Ooh, just as I talked about it, she found a little bit of a foothold in the floor and tried to escape. Left hand's working real hard now. The right hand's gluing that handpiece down to the skin. He says, well, if you want to lie down there, darling, and go to sleep, I'll just take the wool off you like that and let you down the porthole. So we got heat number 4 out of the road, sheep 3 done. We're going to move on now to heat 5 and get some more of these woolies sorted out and done and dusted. So move off to the right, please, gentlemen. Thank you for your work.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. We have competitors heat 5 on the board now, please. Stand 1, Andrew Hemi. Wiramu Rangahai on 2. James McKenzie. Shearing on 3. Nick Greaves on 4. Caesar Iraha on 5. And Jared McIntosh on stand 6. Heat 6, Joel Richards. Richard Tahangaroa, Jason Allen, Harris Tahangaroa, Rowan Slabeth, and Ruka Braddock.
We have the results of the Farmlands Women's Wool Pressing heats. Top 2, Fiona Christensen with 113.200, and Carmen Smith from Pongaroa with 115.300. They are the 2 top qualifiers in the women's pairs, the women's singles in the pressing. So we've got 6 more worthy contestants up there.
Just a quick note, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a speed shear here. The Golden Shears speed shear run here tonight, and the doors will be open at 6 p.m. So anybody interested in that, that's the deal here tonight, speed shear.
Okay, we have a green light. Let's rock and roll again. No. Shearers on the board, please. Thank you. Got the all clear. Timekeeper's right. Judges, competitors, go! Most of the time I cast my eye along the board and make sure everybody's out of the pen, Gerald, but occasionally I have been caught with somebody's hand still on the door. But we're only human, and we can make it happen anyway.
Fun job. Just like to thank Lakeview School. How are you kids? Lakeview School. Hello. You listening? Thanks for coming along. Any shearers over there? No? Travel the world? Thanks for coming anyway. Lakeview School. Right. Talk about school, the shearing schools. Texture, they're the ones that run those babies. Teach the art of wool handling and shearing. Andrew Henney, Greytown. Ringawai, Danny Burke, stand 2. A man from Wales, James McKenzie. Top knot off there. Going down, Nick Greaves from England. Judges' heads in the way. Look upstairs. Caesar Iraha on stand 5. And Jared McIntosh on 6 from Poi Poi. Well, talking about Alan McDonald, there it is. There's a lot of coincidence just rolling up there. But you are right, John. Going up that neck, Alan McDonald used to get himself so tight and so close in there. It was very difficult to see a second cut because he was right in amongst there. But anyway, it's all about these juniors. That's where they're heading. They're hoping to be as good as the Alan McDonalds and David Fagans and Tom Wilsons and Paul Grangers, and the list goes on. As they come down, the number 1 out of the way. Running time of 1 minute 50. In for the second one. You'll probably take note, ladies and gentlemen, how the judges, okay, again, these volunteering judges, some of them all the way from the deep south, some from the top of the North Island, are swapping. You'll see them swapping. They'll go round. The faraway judge, just going down the steps, down the bottom stand there now, will go right round the back here and back up the front stand, who will actually just mention Paul Granger, will take over Paul Granger on the front stand, and they go do a whole circuit during the heat. Okay, reasons for that, we've got them as close as we possibly can in all the training. They go to training courses of, you know, what they think, but sometimes it might be just a slight preferential, what would you call that, personal, whatever you might want to call, just a slight difference. And in that case, what we do is we swap them to keep it as even as we possibly can. So that's what the judges are doing. You might have noticed it, you might think they're just all just standing in the same one, but they're not. They only judge a portion of each sheet. And that's the very reason why that happens. We get this as even as we possibly can for these shearers. Look at that beautiful one going out there for Greaves from England. Nothing, you wouldn't expect any less from England. Beautiful, beautifully pink job that was. Oh, jolly, and into the belly wool he goes. He lifts that front leg up as one should. Sort of, you've got to take that full belly off. He bangs that shot right down hard towards the flank and towards that udder and teeth, and you've got to watch around there. You don't want to go cutting your tit off. You'll lose a lot of points for that, and then lifts that leg nice and high so you can get the far side of the brisket. You need to be doing that, otherwise it's got to come off on the last side, and that's not an ideal situation. Long blow time. McIntosh down on the bottom stand there. Oh, these juniors, look at them. They're just enjoying this, aren't they? Professional shearers, they'll be doing probably, this will be their full-time job for all these boys. They'll be banging out 200 odd, 180 to 200 a day in an 8-hour day. So, improving all the time with the technology of gear and all these great shearers around here. I actually, in the changing room before, I run into, you know, Tom Wilson was helping a young shearer there, having a talk to him. They get to rub shoulders with all these people, and then the shearing industry is a phenomenal family for helping each other out. So that's what these young fellas can do. They can run into the Paul Grangers and the David Fagans and the, you know, Kirkpatricks and, you know, all Roland Smiths. It'll just keep going on. I'm going to miss someone. So there's heaps of them there. And they can have a chat to them and say, oh, what do you think about this? Or, hey, I'm having problems there. And they'll get some really, really good advice. And the older shearers have no problem giving it out.
Can I just interrupt for a moment? Helen Casely, there's some schools waiting for you out the front, mate. So if you're in the stadium, Helen, some schools are waiting out the front for their tour guide.
Well, it could get a bit noisy then if those school kids come in, but I tell you what, we'll need them in the future. The shearing industry can't survive on all the old ones. They need fresh blood. Out the last leg there on stand number 3. Doing pretty well. James McKenzie rocking it out. Looks like he's getting it easy. Still got one in the pen though. He's almost got a sheep put around him because Caesar's very hard. Down there on the stand number 5. Rocks out sheep number 3. He's got 5 minutes and 17 seconds gone so far. The Englishman still got one in the pen. Nick Greaves, he needs to get his act together and pump the old bog iron along. There's 5 minutes and 27 or 28 seconds there for Caesar as he rocks it out. Andrew Hemme from Greytown, down under the first shoulder. Working hard with every stroke of that handpiece. Wairarapa, Wrightson, drops into the belly now. A little bit of trouble poking that brisket off. Got it down. Use the left hand, man. Use the left hand. That's what it's for. That's not just to hang it on the bones and things. You've got to get it in on the skin occasionally. Work the sheep. Stepping up the neck is Mackenzie. Greaves has got his third and final one on the board. Under the shoulder and down and out to the flank. Jared McIntosh from what we call P10 country, up there in the King country. Pew pew. Rolls out the last leg. Finishing touches there for young Jared. Good to see a few of these names cropping up again throughout the shearing industry. Names of yesteryear are coming back to visit us with the Rangiafas and the Macintoshes. A couple just in this heat for instance alone. Andrew Hebby's finished off here on the front stand. He's more than happy with his job. He's been down in the pressing arena this morning, helping out down there. A few of his loyal support crew were keeping an eye on him as he's sure. Johnny Hodder and co. He's over the last side now. Working down that money side of the sheep is more of our future of New Zealand walk into the hall. They've been out the back looking at the shorn sheep and how the sheep have been judged. As we come out the last side now for James Mackenzie. Nick Greaves has still got a few blows to go and finish the long blows. Onto the money side of the sheep is Wairarapa. Rangiafa comes across the shoulder now. Good steady hand. Nice and flat. Still got a 2.7. 0.3. Look at that Englishman.
Yeah, I know. That Nick Greaves, a 0.3.
Let's hope we don't upset him as he comes down the last side.
At that stage, it means he's had 1 second cut over these 3 sheep.
Yeah, so he's what we had. He had a couple of goose eggs.
Yeah, he has.
That's what we've had. He comes down the last side. Magnificent shear from the young Englishman. Well shorn from Wairarapa. He's got a 2.7 average. At the moment, 6 out the back with the sheep, final sheep to be judged, I suggest. But look at this, 0.3.
Wow.
A 2.3 on average on the final judging.
Oh, 0.7.
Uh-oh, we talked him into it.
We might have. He got 1 more, but
he got 2 second cuts over 3 sheep, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome.
Clean.
Round of applause for our young Englishman. So he must have got what we call a goose egg, a complete 0. Okay, off to the right, gentlemen, thank you. And we'll move on with heat number 6.
Yeah, thanks, John. Heat 6, Joel Richards from Oamaru on stand 1. Richard Tahangaroa, Pew Pew on 2. Jason Allen on 3. Harris Tahangaroa on 4. Rowan Slabeth from Australia on 5. And Ruka Braddock from Ikitahuna shearing on stand 6. Heat 7, Thomas Chapman, Chris Max Potter, John Melseed, Stephen Jenkins, William Duncan, Sean Turton.
Well, thank you, Rick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on with the pressing, the team's events, the men's events, and give us Heat 1. Heat 1 is this one. Lee Edmonds and Jocks Hawkins. Tane Matiaha and... it's Tane Matiaha and Tumanako Waikare against Lee Edmonds and Jocks Hawkins. So those are local folk, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get underway with the teams pressing. And I think if you're still pressing after about 10 minutes, you're going to be too slow.
Okay, we've got a green light. We've got a green light, Cora. We'll set this lot of shearers away. Get him out of that pen. Shearers on the board, please. Now, these judges are very, very tough. Very, very tough. He's gone for a second opinion. Wairarapa judges. Oh, you know, you'll shear that, mate. Do it last. Oh, crikey. Oh, crikey. I've got to up my game a little bit, I can see that. That shouldn't happen here. Stay out. Stay out, yeah. We've still got a green light. We've got a sheep in the pen there. We're good. We're good to go, aren't we? No. Get him out of there. Okay. Timekeepers are good. Judges, competitors, go. We have Joel Richards here on number 1 from down on the south. Richard Tohengarar from Pew Pew on stand number 2. From Dannyburg, we got Jason Allen from on 3. On 4, Harris Tohengarar from Pew Pew on stand number 5. We have Rowan Stelberg from Australia. Rooker Braddock from Makarahuna down on stand number 6. Hey, the Braddocks, they'll be here in force. Great number of troops arrive at the shearing shed or the shearing competitions, and they're always strong competitors, so there's no reason to believe that Rooker's not going to do the job as well. But they're all in with a chance, these 6 shearers, and they'll want to be setting your time now. There's a minute just comes up on the clock. It looks like it's going to be Jason Allen says, well, I'm going to go out there and be in front and try and hold my quality right through to the final judging. And he turns on the last side now as the rest of them are just dropping into the long blow. So he's got the psychological advantage for a start.
John, can I interrupt you for a moment? Thank you. All right, Pressman, we'd like you to report in, please. Heat 2 will be Connor Puha and Sheldon Ostler. Jonathan Hicks and Cam Hicks. Heat 3 will be Eden Korpako, Andrew Hemi, Vinnie Goodyear, Jeremy Goodyear. Heat 4 will be Willie Killion, Quentin Trass, James Goodyear, Conan Gray. But we'd like these guys here now, please. Lee Edmonds and Jokes Hawkins, or Jocks. On press 1. Press 2 will be Tane Matiaha and Tumanako Waikare. We want you guys over to the wool presses. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Cora. Beauty. In between times, Jason Allen. Bit of trouble on that last side. And you probably saw him. As I said, it's like semi-final, final time. It is on the day, and you could see the work and effort and all the mental preparation he's put into shearing these three sheep, in this case, in these heats, and that wasn't part of his plan. He wasn't impressed on one iota. Anyway, he grunted it out with sheer strength. He told that sheep, I am the boss, and these feathers are going to come off, and they're going to come off now, and nice and cleanly. But anyway, he still holds the front with a bit of jiggling and dancing going on in that first one. Round the back of the ears he goes. Mr. Richards on the front stand, into the belly wool at number 2. What else is happening down in the bottom stand? We've got the man from Australia. Normally doing a lot of shearing of the merinos over there, okay? And it takes a little bit of adjustment. There's a whole different style of shearing, as in technique, not a change in blows really, but just a pattern. But just a different sort of technique. You can see them there where as though they had the horns to do and the wrinkly bits. They're known as wrinklies because they have a lot of loose skin up their neck and the likes. And it can take a lot of adjusting to what's known as a crossbred here, and especially in a second shear stage where the wrinkles aren't so much there. It's more of a speed game, the more the technical sort of side of it, like you would have to be in Australia, when you've got to dodge all those wrinkles and fold them and roll them and da-da-da-da-da, all those things that needs to be done. Grant Smith would be probably more the man to tell you folk about that than me. But those are some of the rules. But a lot of them can do it. Young Troy Piper spent a couple seasons in Australia, and he's back here and shearing very well on crossbreeds quite quickly. Made the big final in the Southern Shears as well down there, so Troy did. So it can be done. So the man all the way from Australia, up the leg he goes. The last and final front shoulder on the journey home. 1, 2 blows. Then right out to the toenails he goes now. Jason Allen. Belly wool out the back. You can see the hunger and desire in this man as he's shearing these sheep. It's a very direct shot he's putting in there. As if to say, I have planned this for quite a while and this is how it's going to run. As he walks up the neck, fires one right up under the chin there. Doesn't do this on the face, didn't feel quite right. Banged one in on the second one. Bit of improvising. Plucks the wool out of the way around the ear, sticks his thumb in there as one should do so it doesn't hurt the sheep as much, so she doesn't kick as much, and round the back of the ears he heads. Harris. Stand 4 there. Look at that, just going back, really tightening up around those corners there. It is about the job. Let's look upstairs there. Harris. There he is, 1.7 and a 1. Well, there you go. That tells you, doesn't it? So, by jolly, it's nice and clean. Because when it goes out the back, you've probably seen those that live stream video going on upstairs, and they showed you out the back before, where all these sheep get judged side. There we go, here we go. See that one getting tipped on its tail there, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see that? Okay, there's no getting away. Every single sheep that leaves here goes down there. One side gets judged, the other side gets judged. Here's the side going here, folks. Look at the TV just for a wee minute. That's one side. Okay, here the judge will go, right. He's done that. On to the other side. What's going on there? Judging. On to its tail, right. Then he'll lift the front legs up. You quite can't see that in the TV. And then he'll lift the chin of the sheep up underneath the chin and check all up around the neck. So there's no getting away from making or leaving ridges or scratches on a sheep. You will not get away with it. So she's she's technical stuff. By jolly it is. But all in all, in the big picture, it just improves the whole industry, even though this is a sport.
Gerald, can we interrupt you? Thank you. We're back to the pairs, the men's pairs, ladies and gentlemen. And these guys are going to have a little bit of a toe talk or a little bit of a cuddle as they get all organised. We probably wouldn't have done that, Gerald. We would have just ran to each corner and snarled. How much is the weight, you guys? Richard Pierce, how much is the weight? 180 kilograms. 180 kilograms. 170, we'll get it right. 170 kilograms for the pairs.
No, it's 160 kilos, Carl. 170 in the final.
160 kilos. Oh, right. We have the pressmen pumped up, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting underway with the Farmlands 2014 Open Men's Pairs. Pressmen, on your marks, get set, go! We're going to be pressing away, and if you're still pressing after 10 minutes, you're going to be slow. We got Jokes Hawkins, Lee Edmonds on press number 1. And down here we've got Waikare and Tumanako on press number 2. So these are local folk, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the local schools over here, and the local schools need to make a little bit of noise for these wool presses. And we're going to find out where these schools are from. How are you going up there, guys? Well, we'll just find out where the school is from. Okay, where's the school from?
Lakeview.
Bayview? Lakeview. How many children go to Lakeview?
A lot.
She said 1,000. How many? About 220. 400. Wow, what a big school. Well, that's the future of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a few pressmen there. And it's not only men that do this job, Hugh, women do it just as well.
Yeah, they certainly do, Caro, and we've seen some very good ladies competing this morning. And now we're on to these pairs. So they're really getting into it now, John. They're really working hard. These pressmen. We've got the first one here up into the top box. He goes on press number 1. Press number 2. They're a little bit slower, but they'll make up for it, I'm sure. In we go into the top box on press number 2. So all these pressmen now, then look at them treading all this wool in, putting a bit of weight to use. They've got to fill these corners, and by filling the corners of these boxes, it'll keep those bales nice and square, so that when they go onto the truck later on to go to the wool scourers, that we get as much weight as we can onto those. So we're just marking up which box is which now, so we don't get confused.
I noticed you said truck. I normally say lorry over your way, don't you?
Yeah, I've had it beaten out of me since I've been coming over here.
Well, that's the end there of heat number 6. We'll move on to heat number 7. Gentlemen, if you go off to the right, please. And while we're getting the next heat up, we'll go back to the pressing.
So these pressmen now then, Coro, are working really hard. Start tramping, and we'll see that top box. The cap is going on here on press number 2. And we'll start seeing that being wound up in a minute, and it'll be swung round.
This is a job that a lot of people don't want to do here, because they actually put on the jug for smokos, they fill the pens, they fill up the shearers' oil cans, and when the wool handler wants to go to the toilet, they fill in for them as well. So that's the job that these guys do.
Yeah, they're some of the, they are the hardest working. If you talk to them, they are the
hardest workers in the shearing shed.
Because
I think they're underpaid as well.
Yeah, well, that'll be down to the contractors.
No,
Weren't
well,
you a contractor?
John McBride, he'll pay $25 for a pressman, so that man's already got some vacancies in his wool shed.
Hell, he'll be queuing up to work for him.
Okay, we'll just get these guys up, fellas, quickly. Heat 7, Thomas Chapman on 1, Chris Max Potter, Shearing on 2, John Melseed on 3, Stephen Jenkins, William Duncan, and Sean Turton on 6. Heat 8, Luke Linton, Laura Bradley, Chris Duncan, Tegwin Bradley, Cameron Smith, and Pania Pawai. Parity.
Okay, back to the wool pressing while we're waiting for... Oh, the green light is there, guys. Let them go. All right, back to the pressing, ladies and gentlemen, and the young guns are bringing down the handle. The sweat is starting to stream off the sky. Look at him come down, ladies and gentlemen. Geox is into it. Lee Edmonds is coming down. Make a bit of noise, children. Here he is bringing down the wool press. The young fellas have already been there and done that, Hugh. They've got it down. Look at them going.
Yeah, they're really getting into their work. The top box comes out the way on press number 2. It's starting to move down there on press 1, but it's these young fellas now. It looks like we're ready to start.
Yeah, we're going to start here without you. We need the presses, but we need the shearers first. Okay, we're ready to go. Timekeepers are good. Judges, come. Oh, back. You can hear the tyres screeching from here. Okay, start again. Timekeepers good. Judges, competitors, go. Oh, a little bit of a quick start there for Sean. He said, righto, I'm going to get in there. I didn't come from Danny Burke just to be last. He was already in the pen ahead of me. But we've sorted him out. Sean Thurton down there on stand number 6. Wooly Duncan from Ty Happy on stand number 5. Stephen Jenkins, a Welshman, on stand number 4. On number 3, we got from England, John McBelseed. Another Englishman on stand number 2. We've got Chris Max Potter, and right up the front we've got another one with a big cross on him, Thomas Chapman, also from England. Well, international flavour, plenty of it here today. In this junior grade, 3 sheep this year, working away pretty strong. How are those presses going down there? They pumping it up, are they?
Yeah, they're really getting into it now down here, John. We've got the cap being secured here on number 2. They're really working well, these 2 young fellas. They've taken it to the older fellas and they're showing them the way to go. But it's the 2 young men now on the press number 2 here. pulling those clips nice and tight. They've got the top cap done. They've got the pins out. The door's coming open. They're going to have this bale out in very, very quick time. We're waiting for the hand to come up now then. Who's it going to be? Out they go on press number 2. Give them a big round of applause. How's the shearing going down there, John, while we wait for these 2 others to come on?
Yeah, thanks, Hugh. Yeah, the shearing's full of action too, but by jolly, that doubles is looking like there's just entertainment and galore down there. By jolly, that's all good. Right, on the board, well, we've got international flavour, all right. 3 Englishmen, Welsh and a couple Kiwis. Thomas Chapman brushes the cheek wall clear. Oh, still with sheep 1. Had the old head facing the other way. There's just action. I don't know, folks, if you've ever pressed wool, and when you're jumping on top of it like that, when you're pressing it down and you're inside the bins trying to squash it so you can fit more in it. But if you've ever tried to run up sand dunes, really loose ones, and you know how it sucks that energy out of you, it just goes whoosh. Well, that's what it's like trying to press wool, because it wants to bounce back up at you. And by jolly, you've got to put a heap of weight on it, and it takes a lot of doing it. They made it look easy, but by jolly, it just saps the energy out of you. Really, really hard work. Sheep 1 out of the way. Chapman, what's that running time up there? 2 minutes 34 at this stage. First one on the door, and the first one with number 2 out. What do we got to go? We've got 5 more heats of this junior. That's great stuff, folks. That's not a problem. We can work with that. We like all these large numbers of competitors in the novice and in this junior grade. It means the industry's nice and strong and in good shape. Oh, a nice clean one goes out there by the Welshman.
I believe he's from Lampeter, so it's his hometown in Wales. So he's a little bit of useless information from one of our fellow commentators.
Yeah, we like that.
John and Cheryl, can we interrupt you folks? They're halfway through the junior heats from the PGG Wrightson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the bale was pressed in 6 minutes. In about 6 minutes, unofficially 6 minutes, and the desired weight, Hugh, is how much?
160 kilos, Carl.
160 kilos. Okay, let's get the man over here to weigh these bales up. Come on, guys, we're going to tell the people. Have a look at it, Hugh. I reckon that bale is 150. It looks like a cushion. It's soft. Oh, we're rolling it up here. Well, 160, ladies and gentlemen, and Hugh will turn the clock on. 160 is the desired weight, and I reckon it's 150. What do you reckon, Hugh?
I reckon it could be a little bit lighter, down about the 140.
147. I win that one, don't I? I was closer then. 147, 160. Well, boys, you fellas should have had some lunch. It was nice lunch out the back.
Well, what do you reckon about this then, Carl?
Oh, this one here, just get a... Oh, that's about 145 as well.
Oh, I go a little bit heavier. I'd say 155.
155. Let's go. We'll get this bale weighed, guys, and we'll come back to you.
Ooh, who comes in at 166?
166. So that's not too bad for the old boys, Lee and Jocks, Hawkins. Well, we're going to get underway with the second heat, but back to you, Shearing, Gerald and John.
Yeah, we're just finishing here sheep number 2 now. This is heat 7 underway in the PGG Wrightsons. Next heat is Linton, Bradley, Smith, Peabody and Fleming. So yes, you all go here and working away on this PGG Wrightson event. They've been great sponsors over the years, Gerald, and good to see them back on board for 2014.
Oh, very much so. PGG Wrightsons, there's a sign they've got a tent out the back out there, or more a stall than a tent, with a lot of shearing gear and that on offer. Probably a couple of sales or specials up for grabs, of course, for the Golden Shears that play the game that way, but also involved in a whole lot of other locally run events. So be sure to support them if you possibly can, and be sure to tell them why you're doing it. So back to the board. 3 sheep, the third one on the blocks here at the moment. Stand 1s and 2 going down the board there. That'll be the whole shooting box. What's happening down on the bottom stand? Still on sheep number 2. So 3 on the board otherwise. The ringer at the moment is front stand here. Chapman from England. 2 big shots up the undermine there. Top knot comes off. You're just sort of arriving, ladies and gentlemen. It's heat 7. We've got 11 of these heats in the junior. That's where we're up to. We've got the pressing running simultaneously behind us on the doubles. So plenty of action to go and plenty of action happening. Into the side of the face goes Chapman. Round the back of the ears. Gets hold of that ear and just sort of tweaks that round. Bit of jiggling and kicking going on. On the third stand there. Down to the fertiliser works. Round that tail area. 1 up the back. Leans it right over as one should do. And 2. Off with the sun hat there as well. They're very accomplished junior shearers, aren't they? Look at them. They'll be obviously all full-time shearers as Potter works his way round to the long blow. Fires in 1, 2 short ones, 3, lines up that big Wairarapa 2-tooth, second shear. For those big swooping blows, does so. Got hold of the ear. Cheek will off there too, and now onto the last shoulder. Struggling on this one is Chapman on this last one. Just can't get going. Got a very small last side to do. You can see he's put a big long blow in there. You see there's only a wee strip of wool to come off, so he should come home with a big finish.
He's certainly got the quicker last side if he can get it done. It's just a matter of whether the sheep's going to let him. It's coming under the shoulder and down and out to the flank now, pushing it hard, making it happen. Looks like it's going to be the man, Thomas Chapman from England, maybe. Slightly ahead of Potter at this stage. Will the sheep let it happen? No, down on stand number 5, Willie Duncan, the tie-happy fella says, well, mate, I'm yours. Hit your button and turn it off. That's the story. The Kiwi got home just slightly ahead and just on under 8.5 minutes. A couple of Englishmen finish off here on the stands 1 and 2. Likewise, the Stephen Jenkins, the Welshman. Over the last side now comes the other Englishman, John Melseed. Down the far end, we've got Sean Thurton. He's turned up the pressure on the neck now. Got out to a good start, but just wobbled a little bit halfway through. So now he's got a little bit of work to do.
Got a good job. Good job up there, John.
Can we get going underway with the next one? Oh, thank you. Merci.
Right then, pressers, are we ready to start? We're going to go for it then. We can get you rearing to go. Pressers, get set, go. So we're going for a 160 kilo bale. We've seen a very fast time. 6 minutes being set in the first heat. So that's what you've got to beat, pressmen. So they're working very well as a team. You can see we've got 2 brothers here on press number 2. Cam and Jonathan Hicks from Martin. And they'll work well together.
Hicksville. The Hicks boys.
Yeah, they'll work well together. They've probably fought it out as kids and now they'll work as a real team. So we got the 2 brothers. And then who have we got on press number 1, Coral?
We've got the big show. He's arrived. Look at the man. He doesn't even need to get in the press. He just gets up there, goes whoomp, in goes the whale. 160 kilos. These guys are going to be pumped up now. How are we going back at the shearing?
Yeah, we're just finishing off the last side, but need to keep using that left hand. As Sean still got very good points up there, so he's still in the hunt. And you know, if you can get round and stay in that 30 to 35 points, you're certainly going to be making that semi-final. As he's coming down the last side, keeping the pressure on. They were still got 4 heats to go here in this junior elimination round. And the sheep says, I want to go downtown. Let me down the portal and I'll be off. And he's about to hit the button right about now. Well, Sean. Thank you, Sean Thurton. So next up, they're all waiting here on the side of the board. That's the bit that I like. These junior shearers have been really good to us today. They've not been having to be called at all. So as those shearers now have moved off, we got Luke Linton on 1, Laura Bradley on 2, Tegwin Bradley on 3, Carmen Smith on 4, on 5, Pana Piwari, and on stand number 6, Luke Fleming.
Well, down here, boys, we got the box going up by the Cam Hicks show. Around the box goes, but I just looking at the style of the other boy, the shorter one, he would look like he was, you know, he'd only pick up a handful at a time. He's probably overexcited and didn't really know the importance of grabbing a big armful. He was going backwards and forwards to the press. Is that youth coming in at him, or is he just...
It might have been, but Cam was taking big armfuls, so I'd
Yeah,
say
well-
the one will complement the other.
Cam was taking the big shots, whereas his brother was just picking up little bits, and it was like a little mice having a feed, you know. I just wondered maybe you should have been picking up. He can't hear us, so we can keep talking about him.
No, he's taller than me. I'm not going to pick on him too much.
No, well, we can't pick on that fellow over there. He's a bit too big, that other guy, who he might be able to hear us. But now the big boys on press number 1's going up. The Hicks boys have got their boxes up now. Let's get into the real rolling stuff. Well, Hugh, here goes the big arm. Down the go. Ready to go, John No, the green light's still there. We're going to stay with the pressing, Hugh. Cam Hicks, look, his brother is very clever. He's letting him do all the work.
We've
Whoa,
got
look at
green.
him.
We've got green.
Oh, we got a bit of a knot on the rope.
Okay. We've
So
got all...
they'll let him do the work. They'll have to let it off.
Excuse me, Hugh. We'll
Yeah,
set this
I
right along.
probably would... Oh, he's quite happy to carry on.
Righto, okay. Timekeepers right. Judges. Competitors, go. We're off and moving from Masterton, one of the local lads. Luke Linton. Just up the road, we've got Woodville pairing of Laura Bradley and Tegwin Bradley on stands 2 and 3. Carmen Smith from Pongaroa on stand number 4. On 5, Pania Piwari from Omaha. And on stand number 6 from Toko, Luke Fleming. Heat number 9 will be Dion Edwards, Mark Radmore, Baraki Puna, George Smith, Caleb Foot, and Bradman Franks. That's heat number 9.
You're right to go, Hugh.
Yeah, so these boys now are working hard, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the pressmen on stand number 1. They're really going for it now. They don't look as if they're going that hard, but by God, that old arm takes a fair bit of swinging. You're putting a lot of pressure on that press, and they've got it coming down nice and easy. Look at this. A couple more clicks to go. This is where your arms are starting to burn. This is where the pressure's coming on. And how are these Hicks boys getting on? The 2 brothers on press number 2. The younger brother doing all the work at the minute, keeping it nice and clean. Cam has got those pins going in. He'll get it coming nice and even. The top box has come down on this other side, Cora. Look at these boys working.
There's a lot of puffing going on here on press number 1, ladies and gentlemen. These are the boys that have given up the cigarettes. They're just getting their second win. Down he goes, and the young fella walks around the press. What do you want me to do now, boss? Well, he would probably want him to start cleaning up. He's quite clever, this young guy. He knows how it is. See, he's a quality control manager. You've got to have every one of those in the team, don't you, Hugh?
You definitely do. So these Hicks boys now then, these other 2 fellas are catching them up. But Jonathan and Cam now then, starting to put that cap on. They'll put 3 pins in the bottom layer. They'll put 4 pins in that top layer. And they're starting on this other side as well. So how's the shearing going down there, Gerald?
Yeah, it's good, Hugh. We're smoking it down here. Luke Linton, who's been doing a lot of travelling, so he's very serious because he's been down south, has just put out what they're known as a goose egg or a duck egg. He shore that first one quick in 2 minutes and 10 seconds and didn't lose a point on the board. So that takes a little bit of doing. There's a whole lot of corners to get round and all sorts of little places you have to get in and out without cutting the wool in half. So very, very good standard of work there by this junior shearer on the front stand. Laura Bradley, she's in, got number 1 out of the way with losing 2 second cuts there. And into the belly wool, she dives. Fair bit at stake. This is their one and only chance of getting a smack at making the semi here.
Well,
and
Gerald,
then working your way through to the final.
we're coming to the end with this bale on press number 2. Last little bit of titivating, and out they go on press number 2. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
And then making their way through to the final. So, yeah, they don't want any mischief going on. They want everything just to pan out exactly as it's supposed to. There's Bradley. There's Tegan. Big swinging arm there. Down to the fertiliser works. 1, 2 big ones up the back. He's going to go for another one, but it's going to do a bit of jiggling. Not too keen. Yes, he is. It'll make for an easier and quicker last side as he takes the sun hat off and steps up the neck.
Could we have the novice Woolhandling finalist to please see Mr. Alan Precious to do your draw for the final? The novice Woolhandling finalists down here below the desk, please. Pronto. Go, Gerald.
Oh, she's all good. We're starting to move into that final time, but at this stage we're still trying to go through the elimination stage at the heats, and it is difficult, folks, because a lot of people have travelled a long way. They've worked through a number of shows to get here. They've been in the shed toiling away, talking to mates and getting a bit of mentoring and all these sorts of things. And hey, right now it's happening right here. They happen to be on stage at the Golden Shears 2014. Oh, what a beautiful feeling. This is what it's all about. The downside is we've got, as far as they're concerned, there's no give-me's because we've got 11 heats, 66 of them. Oh, by jolly, got to be on your game. So they've stepped it up right from the word go and treating it like a semi-final. Right. How's this Linton going now? He's got 4 on the board. Hasn't had as much luck with the second one. Has had to bring the head forward on the last side, which is quite wise if you think it might stand a chance of getting away on you. Right out to those tail lines. You see that sock, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to do at least 4 swipes on that. Otherwise, those beautiful judges out the back that we've watched on the TV will give you a bit of a bombing. Beautifully shorn body, though. Beautifully shorn body.
Well, guys, just over here, we'll just weigh the bales up. The big boys over here, 154 was their bale, so they're right there with the times. Their time was just over 7 minutes. And then we go to the Hicks boys, and when you just notice that, I'm not too sure how they clarified that up, but you folk probably didn't notice, but there was a knot in the rope, and I'm not quite sure how they worked that out, but their time was just under 7 minutes, and their weight, 156.0. So that's some good bale weights, ladies and gentlemen. The jobs are nice and neat. Well, we're going to go to the next event here. We've got the champion Goodyear boys here. It's Vinny and Jeremy in the team. Well, we've seen the bales pressed in about 7 minutes. What if I told you these guys will do it in 5?
Yeah, I agree with you because I've seen these boys in action. How's the shearing going down there, guys?
Well, we're still going here and cutting all wool, hoping it's going to earn big export dollars here. The young ones are just doing a magnificent job, as you can see by the board points up there, 1.3s, the 2s. You know, that's a pretty good average on these big, strong sheep. Here on the front stand, Luke Linton from Masterton rocks out the last of the front shoulder now. He's on sheep number 3, moving his sheep with every blow. Leads to get into that long blow now. We're just waiting for Daryl Reary and Charlene Tahuya to please come and draw for that novice Woolhandling final. So back to the shearing as Laura Bradley swings around on stand number 2. Tegwin into the long blow. On stand 3, working pretty hard. Up over the top comes Carmen Smith. She'll be keeping the quality right. Parnia's down there on stand number 5, rattling out the last leg. Still got one in her pen. Luke Fleming. Down the first off leg. Must be sheep number 3, I reckon, Gerald, is it? Looks like stand number 6.
Yep, Fleming's onto the undermine there. Rabbit of the field at the moment, though, is sitting down here with stand 3. On the journey home with Linton right up his tail, who took off for a real beauty. He got off to a beautiful start with that first sheep. It sat for him. He shore it well, and since then it just hasn't quite panned out exactly as he'd be hoping. But the heads forward for Bradley, the stand 3 there, making sure of these last and final blows. There's not going to be any hiccups. Happy with the way he's went. Looking upstairs, Tegwin Bradley, 32.5. He's the first in for the stop clock. He stops the time of actually 29.3 is up there. Next one in, stand one, looking upstairs again there, the 45.8. So the pen is what's costing there out the back, as you can see. This is what they do, ladies and gentlemen. They take this home and they can have a look at where the issues are. And Luke will be saying, oh, my pen out the back. What's the story there? He may catch up with the judges later, find out who they were and say, hey, look, what do you think what the story is with that 14? What's it, just wool left on, or a few ridges, or mainly around the head or the tail, or, you know, where can I improve on that area? Carmen Smith on the journey home as well. Up the neck goes Pania. This is this shot that you don't like doing when you're a junior, when you can't see where that handpiece is going up that neck. Into the base of the ear. She fires two of them in there. Now fires another big one up. Sheep thinking, oh, okay. This is not the most comfortable position I've been in. It's a wee bit unnatural. I'm normally standing in a paddock eating grass. A beautifully clean sheep. Take a look at that, ladies and gentlemen, from Carmen. Beautiful, beautiful body shorn sheep there. Bit of jiggling going on there in stand 5. How the wool press is going, still getting organised. Let's keep your heads and eyes towards the junior shearers at this stage. You're getting value for money here today, ladies and gentlemen, with 2 events running simultaneously. Pania. Time's attention. No, just gets the wool out of the way. Now she's lining up that first shoulder there, and she's going to lie it down. Just drops it down there now. Starts lining up that long blow. Luke Fleming. Finishing touches. He stops his own clock there. Away on the long blow, Pania goes now. All the shearers will stay on stage as they do until all shearers are finished, which is a mark of respect. And when they're all finished, then they'll leave by the right-hand side.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Gerald Spain and Mr. John from the Taranaki, John McBride. Righto, we're getting underway with the current Golden Shears wool pressing champions, and we're going to go on to the stage again like we did last year with the champions. So these are the guys over here. This is William and Quentin on press number 1. Come out, you guys. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. They've got their work cut out with them, but what they've got on their side is youth, because Jeremy's getting quite old now. So these guys have got a bit of youth. And here he is on press number 2. We got who we got there?
Well, on press number 2, we got Vinny and Jeremy Goodyear. Look at them. They've set the pace earlier on. They won it last year. And of course, Jeremy's the 20 times winner of this.
I saw them preparing their wool for the job there. Look at them. That one looks like pike here, looks like a whale, and that one looks like a snapper. So the boys have got it all worked out, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got it sorted, don't you worry.
All right, get them underway.
Okay then, pressers, we're ready for a start. Pressers, on your marks, get set, go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen some very fast times, and I'm sure we'll see another very, very quick time here now as well. These are the masters. Look at them, Coro. They're into their work. The doors come open. He says, I'm getting old. I'm not going to lean over to put that fadge in. I'm going to use a bit of experience. But look at his younger brother go. Look at that for an armful of wool, ladies and gentlemen. They're right into it now, Coro.
They're right into it, right. Did you see Jeremy throw that fadge in the air? It did a pirouette, came down, and he caught it in the right way. Isn't that a master?
Yeah, amazing move. But it also cleaned out any contamination and any oddments out of the fadge as well. So that will have been taken into account by the judges, I'm sure.
And Jeremy is quite good. You look at this, ladies and gentlemen, the two of them work in unison. Here we go, 78 kilos in that thing. Into the wool packet goes in one hit, 78 kilos. My word, Johnny McBride, look at that.
Oh, magnificent stuff. We'll have the next heat onto the board, please. Dion Edwards on 1, Mark Radmore on 2, Parariki on stand number, Parariki Puna from on stand number 3 from Napier, George Smith on 4, Caleb Foote on 5, and Bradman Franks on number 6. The next heat will be Neil Bryant, Western Heilstead, Adam Stockdale, Hugh de Lacey, Johnny Burkholt, and George Gilbert. They'll be heat number 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got the internet working. We got the man here from Japan saying, my girlfriend in England and looking at me. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. There's ready to go. The boys over here only getting little bits and pieces at the time. The green light's ready, John. Where you go?
Awesome stuff. Shearers on the board.
Yeah, well, I can tell you now, John, that these presses, they're not hanging around. We saw 6 minutes in the first heat, and these Goodyear brothers are really working as a team. Look at them, each one helping the other one out. They're really going for this. They really want it. So we're ready with the green light, John.
Well, while they're waiting for the green
Shearer
light,
on
it
the
hasn't
board.
even been 3 minutes yet, Hugh. Not even 3 minutes. I see the referees in there. So, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to bring down. Don't say anything, ladies and gentlemen. They were going to press the pins.
Okay.
It would have been a shout.
You weren't meant to see
Somebody
that,
in the
Coral.
audience yelled out the pins.
Ooh, well, I'll get these shearers started while you fellas get all tied up down there.
Here we go, Johnny McBride. Look at
Here
this
we
man.
go.
He's coming down. Oh, look. What's happening here?
Timekeeper's right.
He's got to put the arms up.
Judges, competitors, go. Let's all go here, either end of the shed. What's happening down on the wall?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a mistake there. They started pulling the arm down. They hadn't put the clips on the top. So that's probably going to be a shout later on, but we won't tell them till they finish. Cersei's Goodyear brothers, look at this. The top box is off. It comes round. Jeremy will start on with those pins. You look at the power he'll use to put those pins through. He's like a hydraulic press, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're on. Look at Quentin going. I wouldn't get too close to him, judges. He'll knock your head off with that arm. Down comes that press now then. Look at these Goodyear brothers. They look cool, calm, and collected, Coral. Look at them go.
I think we've only been going 4 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Hugh, they've only... Look at this guy's already putting the pins in the side of the wool pack there. Is it that cheating?
No, that's what they call using your head, Coral, using your experience.
Goodness me, I haven't seen anybody do that before. Now they're getting... Look, it's all ready to go. Pack. And the man that's going to put the tack on it is Jeremy, ladies and gentlemen. He's packing up, and the time is 4 minutes, Hugh. They've been going 4 minutes, but here comes the young gun. Oh, Jeremy's under pressure. I can see him falling apart, Hugh.
No, he won't fall apart, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him coming now then. We'll be back with the shearing, but look at these boys coming now. Pins are coming out. 2 at a time on press number 2. They're really getting into it on press number 1. But look at that, 5 pins at a time, ladies and gentlemen. The bail is coming out. It won't be long. They'll have a little bit of a tidy up, I'm sure. Jeremy, look at that pirouette, just to show it off. Vinny's just closing the door. Last bit of a look around for the 2 Goodyear brothers. And out they go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, look, there's a bit of wool on the top.
You fellas take a
You
break.
put
You
that
get
there,
excited. We'll come back to the shearing here. We got Dion Edwards up here on the front stand. He's another
Wonderful
Welshman.
pressing.
And down on stand number 2, Mark Radmore. Look at him. Finishing touches to that last shoulder and comes under and down and out to the flank. Keeping it nice and short. Making it ever happen. He's an Englishman. Another one of that travelling lot. Hey, then we got Paraaki Puna on stand number 3 from Napier. Doing the job right. As long as he can keep the sheep settled. George Smith on stand number 4. Is he from Australia? No, he's not the rugby player. He's from Wales as well. Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like Wales to me. It's Wairarapa. That looks a little bit better. Callum Foot from Oniferu there up in the Pukekohe. He's on stand number 5, and Bradman Franks from Levin down on the far end. So we're rocking along here. Sheep number 3 coming out on the board, is it? Sheep number 2. There for George Smith. Down the belly he goes. Woo! She sets fire to herself. Does all those unmentionable things when you try and just keep the legs cool, calm and collected. They can sense fear. If you're scared of these sheep, they will sense it and they will make you pay. Here comes the old Welshman stepping up the front here. Round the back of the head he's about to go. A little bit of tension on the handpiece. Hey, a little bit of dust on the top knot. Felt a little bit of a
John
shudder.
McBride.
He's got it now. Back down to you guys. What's the numbers?
Well, we're just going to the times. The Goodyears were 4 minutes and 45 seconds, so I think they're a 2 minute on top of anybody else. We're going to come to the weighing up, but just looking at them now, they look pretty well composed, whereas the team on number 1, they're absolutely shattered. They've done the hard yards, and they took about 6 minutes. So we're going to weigh the bales, guys. Come along and weigh the bales. Where's all our staff? We're going to weigh the bales, guys.
Looks like you're the staff, Cotto. Get your hook out, mate.
Yep.
Anyway, they're dropping the scale, the bale on the scale, and there's no bet this time.
Here we go.
I can see the Welshman's run away with his tail between his legs.
That's 160 kilos on the nose, John.
Oh, sweet number.
Oh, look, no, I think you better weigh that again because it was on crooked. No, 160 kilos. Holy smoke.
Anyway, while they're getting the other bale organised, we've still got shearing going on up here.
Good stuff.
Hey,
isn't it?
Wales
now-
are still doing pretty well.
Now, John, we've got 150 kilos.
Whee.
So what's
Give them a
the,
round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, both
Wow.
teams.
so the 160 is closer to the mark.
Great stuff. Oh, where are we up to, John? There's that much excitement happening in the stadium. It's just hard to keep up, isn't it? Sheep 3, front stand, in and around the crutch area. Now, down the first hind leg, he goes. Edwards from Wales. They like them shorn we like them short and clean over here, but it's essential to shear them very clean over there due to midges. You can't do any cuts in that, otherwise you've got to put tar and iodine spray on them. And it's highly illegal to cut any sheep over that way. The little midges get in there and infect them, so that's no good. Puna is wrapped up. Put the blinker on a couple of the boys in the heats. He said, oh yeah, well, we've got 11 heats here. I will treat this as a semi-final and start hooking in here. And into the belly will go Smith. I looked up there before, he had a really good score, 6.3 there now. One left in the pen down on the bottom there. This would be a good opportunity. We've been a few distractions and we'll just make a few more. How about we just swing around this stadium for a wee minute and find out who's helping the show run. Let's go up the front. We've got Tui, okay, one of the major sponsors here. Okay, they're not hard to support, of course, fellas and girls. Tui, take care of them. Lister, of course. That's Tommy Wilson here, supplying all the machines. Acto. Okay, Acto Agriculture. Lister Shearing. They're one of the major sponsors here and put a huge amount of work in. That's Tommy Wilson. Then we've got PGG Wrightsons. They're the sponsor right here, right now, and out the back with a bit of a display tent, and you can buy a few goods. Primary Wool Co-op, okay, 100% grower owned, working for all the wool growers. Make sure you support this industry the best you can to keep it going. Smoke free, we've discussed that. No smoking in the stadium here or in the surrounding grounds of the stadium. Okay, and there's a tent out the back you can go and visit. You could enter a competition and win some money and discuss, trying to get off that habit of smoking. We've got the Alliance Group, of course, one of the big abattoir companies or freezing work companies in New Zealand. We've got Scanda, okay, it's a broad spectrum drench going around farmlands, okay, that's the new CRT farmlands joined together and now solely called farmlands. Cooper's down the bottom there over there is that's all to do with the drenches and that animal house to the side as well. So make sure you support them if you possibly can as a farmer. FMG, Farmers Mutual Group. They have insurance with farmers and are focused that way, okay? So they're very, very special and good packages for farmers. Farmers Mutual Group. But you can just do insure a car on that like so there. Rabobank.
Here we've got the novice woolhandling final. The novice woolhandling final will be taking place at the completion of this junior shear, which we are 2 heats away from. And we need those competitors, Charlene Tahuia, Nira Hitaka, Daryl Reary, and Tarangamari Matia Hinari. Would they like to come and see down here in front to see the Mr. Alan Precious?
Thanks very much, John. I'll do the last round. Rabobank, of course, a Dutch band. Yes, up there, that's us. very, very good interest rates. Okay, a Dutch bank, Farmers Mutual again, where are we going? We've got Smoke Free I've mentioned, and Trust House, that's highly involved here too. The Alliance Group again. Swing your eyes around, see who's helping out or who's helping to run this show as far as sponsorship goes. Right, that's the end of that heat there. They've done their job. They needed no encouragement from us, and there's a few distractions. So we've done a bit of homework for all you folk here. Very big warm welcome to you who have just arrived, and settle in. There's still a few spare seats dotted about, and we've now got
Okay,
two
Gerald,
more heats of this.
we've got one more heat left in this pairs competition. One more heat. So we've got Tumanako Waikere and Michael Hemme, and James Goodyear and Conan Gray left to go. So we've got one more heat left in this pairs, and we'll get that underway very, very quickly, John.
All right, we'll get the next heat up on the board. Neil Bryant on 1, Weston Halestead on stand 2, Adam Stockdale on 3, Hugh DeLacy on 4, Johnny Burkhold on 5, and George Gilbert on number 6. All those shearers take the board. And then we have one final heat. Heat 11 will be Heffen Rollins, Alex Smith, Joseph Rentall, Mike Boyd, Josh Baum, and Ricky Stevens. They are the final heat.
She's getting warm. I don't know how warm it is outside, but she's warm in here.
Well, the wheels of industry need to be warm to work, don't they? You'll notice these shearers all get up there. They would have done all their calisthenics out in the changing sheds, all their stretches. And they're rearing to go. The shearers on the board. We've got the green light.
If we can start first, John, we'll get these pressmen underway before you start the shearing on the final heat.
Are you ready?
Pressmen, are you ready? On your marks, get set, go!
No, hold on, Junior Shears.
Yeah, you got to listen. You got to listen. Okay, the presses are away.
All right, take a deep breath, Junior Shears. This is your go.
Okay. Everybody happy up there. Timekeepers right. Judges, competitors, go! This is heat number 10 of the PGG Wrightson event. And we're away and rocking here with Neil Bryant from Levin on stand number 1. Weston Halstead on stand number 2 from US of A.
Well,
Adam
viewers,
Stockdale
we
from
are
England on
live
3.
with the Golden Shears for the year 2014, and we're underway with the PGG Wrightson's Heat 10. On the screen, we've got the bottom 3 shearers: Hugh DeLacy from Cheviot in the South Island, Johnny Buckholt, Wanganui, and an Englishman, he's called Mr. George Gilbert. So that's the folks down there, and there's a good screenshot of the whole 6 shearers. At the moment, we're just going through the elimination heats, and these guys have only this chance to put their best foot forward to make the cut to go to the quarterfinals. And if numbers permit, they'll have a quarterfinal, semi-final, and then final. But there's been 60-odd shearers go through at the moment, and everybody's putting on their best game. They've all come with their best number 1 game, and they really have to impress the judges. The judges' roles are very simplified, I should say. They're looking for second cuts. That's every time the shearer makes a stroke with his handpiece. If he doesn't cut the fibre of wool off in one nice, crisp, clean blow, and he comes off the skin a little bit with the comb, there is 13 teeth on a comb, and ideally you would like to have that bottom tooth of the comb just gliding over the skin, and if that lifts off the skin at any stage, it'll create a second cut. Double cut. And that is a loss to the wool grower, the farming fraternity. And I've been told on good authority that second cuts can cost the New Zealand wool grower about $15 to $20 million a year in lost productivity. So shearing shows were primarily, they were established to get around the second cut and pelt quality. And of course, if you did the less second cuts in the shearing shed, well, you're putting the money back into the farmer's pockets, and we call that adding value. And then we go about the quality of the pelt. It's very easy to scratch an animal's body because we're dealing with an animal that is alive, it's wild, it's probably very uncomfortable sitting on a stage in front of lights and noise, and that's what happens in the wool shed anyway. So when the sheep trops through the porthole, goes out the back, there is another team of judges. You'll see the sheep just pop out the back there. Well, that's what's now we're going to judge the sheep, ladies and gentlemen. And the judges, they turn the sheep around, they pick it up, they look underneath the sheep, make sure that the sheep's got all the wool removed and there is no pelt damage. See how they lift up the chin and the cheeks, they have a good look, and then we're getting ready to judge another one here. So there's another one there getting ready, and look at the quality of the shearing. And this is only the junior class, ladies and gentlemen. Can we go to the scoreboard? Are we able to get a scoreboard? Okay. Well, down there on the scoreboard, we've got George Gilbert, Johnny Buckholt and Hugh DeLacy. They're shearing 3 sheep, and the first lot of points is the time points, and every time 20 seconds ticks by, the shearer is penalised 1 point. So at the moment it's been going for 3 minutes, or coming up 4 minutes, so you divide that or times that by 20 seconds, and that's your 12 points. Then we go to the board job, and there's 3 there for George Gilbert, and outside the pen it is 5 points. So he's had 3 sheep judged, and we divide that by the number by 3 at the end, and we'll get a total of 21.6 for him at the moment. And he's shorn 2 sheep, so you divide those 2 sheep by that, so he's scoring about 10 points a sheep. So great points for these young shearers. And so that's the role of the shearing judges on the boards. They're looking for second cuts, watching the quality of the shearing, making sure that every time he makes a stroke with his handpiece, he cuts it off nicely. The machinery we're using here this year, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lister, and it's out of the United Kingdom. And in New Zealand we have Acto Agriculture as the distributor and the maintenance of it, and they're the ones that look after the machinery. So that's all part of it, and we'll welcome the United Kingdom family at some stage onto the internet. So that's the role of the shearing on the boards, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Now we go down to the wool pressing. The wool pressing here, well, this is the hard men of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. These are the folks that are very new to the shearing industry, and we have a graduation process. You start as a wool handler, a male would start as a wool handler, and if he's big and strong enough, he will progress to a wool pressing, and you can see the activity, the physicality that's involved in there, and these guys. And that in that wool pack there that is being pulled out on press number 2, their desired weight is 160 kilos, and so those guys have got to take that bale, and 2 of them will press in about 5.5 minutes. So that's the neat thing. And these guys, they're in the wool sheds, they pen the sheep up for the shearers. If they're asked to, sometimes I've run out of oil in my oil can, they will do that as well. And they're also responsible for putting on the jug for a cup of tea, punnet, or whatever you like to call it, and a cup of coffee at smoko time. Smoko in New Zealand is breaks. Some people say coffee breaks, dinner breaks. Well, we call them smokos. And on press number 1, you'll see a couple of boys. They're a little bit behind, but they can make it up on the correct bale weight and tidiness. So we'll come back to you in a little while.
In the wool, the magnet pulls them out, and hence no contamination. Right, back to the board, Miss Ford. Where are we up to? We all sheep 3, the fastest man. Not that it is everything in the junior grade. who's on to the last shoulder, and it's down on the front stand. It's Bryant. One more heat to come. We've had a lot of action here. Does the last shoulder on the journey home now. Hallistead right beside him, down to the fertiliser. Works up the tidies that right up. Look at that. That's a good junior. Thought, he's a wee bit there. The crutcher didn't get. I'll just take that off so it's nice and tidy for the farmer when it goes home. Well done, Mr. USA. Stockdale. Who's that finished up there? DeLacy. How'd he end up? 1.3. 1.3. So 3, 2. It's about 2 second cuts. That's a tremendous share on the board. And a 3.7 out the back. 27.1. Lionel Tomato, I think, wrapped it up at a 31 full-time score. So there's a 30.5. Yes, Hugh.
I've got to wait for the bail for press number 2, and that was 163 kilos.
Whoa.
And we'll just weigh this bail now for press number 1. And we'll just roll it onto the scales. Our judges have been working very, very hard up here. And that's 163.5, Gerald.
Whoa, jolly.
Pretty close between the two teams. Give them all another round of applause for all our pressers, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Finishing touches, number 3. Wow, towards the long blow. Anyway, Stockdale, all the way from England. A lot of swapping across the world of shearers now. More so coming this way than the other. The influx years ago was the Kiwis going to the UK to help shear the sheep over there because there's a lot of sheep and not enough skilled shearers to get it done. But now there's a lot of them come over here and practice and mix and mingle with the Kiwis who are the kings of shearing sheep. And you've got to be proud to be a Kiwi, do you not, here today, when you see those pressers work like they do and you see these shearers work like they do. Oh, it's good to be a good, strong Kiwi. Oh, something in that as well. A bit like watching the All Blacks, isn't it? Going out there, whole season, last season, without a loss. Unreal. Up and under the sort of the brisket area there on the journey home. Stockdale. Right out to those toenails. Comes back, does the top. This is that little spot where it's just sitting, and it's a very, very volatile spot, this. Get that left hand in there, young fella, and really push on that skin and get a good hold of it. And it wants to do a bit of dancing. He stays calm, and that's the key. If you tense up, they'll keep at you. But he relaxed, and not an easy thing to do. One more heat to go, folks.
Marika Braddock and Jade Reary, will you come and see Mr. Alan Precious, please? Marika Braddock and Jade Reary, come and see Mr. Precious.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, heat 11, final heat of the Golden Shears PGG Wrightson's Junior Shearing Championship. Heat 1, stand 1, I'm sorry. Heathen Rowlands, Alex Jar Smith on 2, Joseph Renfell on 3, Mike Boyd, Shearing on 4, Josh Baum on 5, and Ricky Stevens from Gisborne Shearing on stand 6. Just a call, please, novice Woolhandling finalists. We've got the draw here. Table 1, Charlene Tahuia, Nira Hitau, Daryl Reary, Tangi Marie Hinare Mariaha. So congratulations to those finalists. If you would like to come up here, we'll give you a T-shirt for that final, which will be run directly after this event. So that's novice Woolhandling finalists.
Yeah, this is the last heat. They're on next. So our last heat, the PGG Wrightson, we've got the green light. Can we have you all on the board, please? Stand 5, thank you. Okay. Not quite okay. We're running to the clock, gentlemen. Look over the door. You've been watching for the last hour or so how these sheep have been shearing. We'll be heavy on the board. Thank you. Okay. Timekeeper's right. Judges right. Competitors go. Ricky Stevens down on stand number 6 from Gisborne. On stand number 5, Tikawiti's Josh Barn. Mike Boyd on stand number 4 from Dargaville. From Rakau, Joseph Rental on stand number 3. Alex A.J. Smith from Rakaya. I think Rendell might be from Rakaya as well. Heffin Rowlands from Wales up on the front stand. And of course, it's a pity that old Hugh's not up here commentating because he'd be giving him a rack up, but we'll give it to our best. He's from where? Ruffin. Oh, Ruffin. He better not be roughing it up there, otherwise he might cost him a penalty point or two. But it's the same for everybody. Every time you make a second cut to that wool, you're going to cop the old judge's pen. He's got a little handheld computer in his hand, and he pushes the button when he sees a second cut to the wool. That's a second cut to the wool fibre. Keep it nice and flat on the skin, you won't get any second cuts. And we've seen some great shears up here today. It means some excellent stuff. So it's your turn now, the last 6 with a chance of making the next round. And here they go, down over the last side. The pace is coming on now from Joseph Rental across the front shoulder there on stand number 3. Leading the way by at least probably a third of a sheep, so he's going for the doctor right from the word go. Down and out to the flank. Let's hope he's keeping the job right. The judge is out the back and will catch him if he doesn't. Into the long blow goes Josh Baum. Down there Ricky Stevens as well. Up here on the front stand, Heffin Rowlands. Smith on stand 2. Into the long blow. Boyd from Dargaville. Just a slight young fella, by golly. He looks to be doing it right though. Everybody's ticking along pretty quiet. Gone all quiet out the back. The pressing must be finished. We can get some more wool for him up here, Gerald.
Yep, the pressing's wrapped out the back. It's all the finals tomorrow now. Scores up above again. Outside pen, of course, are only just arriving out there, so they'll come up in a wee minute or two. We've got a 1 there for Boyd. They're into points, which is all good. Smith. Rental is a 7.7 now. Keep the job right, stand 3 there. Your speed is not nearly as important as you might think. And I know it hasn't been easy sitting here watching all the rest. Your old nerves start getting higher and higher, and the adrenaline gets higher in your blood, and the old adrenals are pumping away, and you get up there and she's all on. But keep the job right as you go. How's the young fella there, Mike Boyd? He's got a 1.3. That's a good job. Sheep number 2 out. Squirrel stands 4, 5 and 6. Beautiful. Last and final round here. Then they've done their work, haven't they? Some of them will be just here socially after that. And some will have some more work to do. Lining up the cash and sash time, the podium. That's what it's all about. And there's been a lot of work done before today. They didn't just arrive here like this. Boyd tucks that leg back. Big strong you, that one. This young fella working that left hand down the first hind leg. Renton gets rid of another one quickly. Big tall fella just swinging that big wing of his. Into the belly will he'll dive again. Handpiece going. Away he goes. Top knot comes off for Boyd. Up the neck. Barb. Tekawiti. That's another shearing name. Funny thing, shearing. Once it's sort of in your blood and you've been around with Dad and he's done shows and you watch it, and then he talks about it, and it becomes a dominant part of the household is shearing and shearing shows and how everyone's doing and if Dad's doing well. It's funny how you end up in the shearing shed. Okay, then that's the Balm down there. Josh Balm, Chikawiti. How's he getting on up here? 0.7 on the board and a 2.7 out the back. Sheep number 2, and he's halfway through that one. But it just gets in your blood. There's something about it you just want to get up there and shear. So it's all good. As he fires round the long blow, turns to the last cheek now. Brushes the ear off, making sure that's nice and clean. It's the only way you can get the ear is you've got to go into the base of the thing. You go any higher than the base and the front of the ear and around 3/4 of it, you cut it. And there's a blimmin' funny thing about ears. It's a bit like a shaving cut for all you men out there. Once you have a shaving cut, it just wants to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. And it's not much of a cut, but it just keeps on bleeding. Well, if you cut an ear, and that means you've lifted your handpiece slightly, just slightly, and you'll nick the ear, and by jolly, it just drips. And it drips on the last side, and it looks way, way worse than it actually is. So you've got to keep that handpiece really down in the base of the ear, and if you're ever going to pull the ear, stick your thumb inside it. It makes it much more comfortable for the sheep to get control of that head. And if you want to shear a sheep nice and quick, it doesn't matter even catching a sheep. The best way to get control of a sheep is get control of the head. If you got control of the head, you'll always have control of the sheep. Rental. Finishing touches right out there. What's he done them in? 5 minutes 33. Big strong fella just shovels them backwards, just picks it up. Says, come with me, young lady. There we go, finishing touches. He's racked. 42.3 on the board. What do we got? The Welshman down on the front stand. He's got the third one. Just taking his time, just lining that up. Now the first hind leg. Doesn't want to sit, flicks the head up. Now trying to get down there. It's another one of these shots. You've got to go down blind, meaning you can't see the tip of your handpiece or anything. You actually bury it right in the wool. You see the first hind leg? You can't see that first shot. You've got to take a shot in there. Now the only issue you've got is there's what's called a flank. There's a loose bit of skin right on that side there. And if you don't pull that tight, it's not ideal because you'll cut it. You'll get what's known as a cutter cut. Where that loose bit of skin goes in between the teeth of the comb and it cuts it. But you can't see that. It's one of those shots you just got to build confidence with as you're doing it over year after year after year. You can know what to do. You have to ride the heel of your handpiece to fire it in there. Otherwise you will cut it. Very similar to the ear. Hey, lots and lots of tactics going on up here, ladies. Well, not so much tactics, but lots of things happening to get these sheep shorn. And this is where it all starts. And it started years and years ago with Godfrey Bowen when he developed this one and only style of how it could be done. The shearing of the sheep has been done a lot of different ways over the years. Before power, of course, it was all blades and scissors and the likes to get the wool off them. And then we had the winding machines, okay, where one man would wind a machine and it would drive something very similar to a handpiece. And they would do like one sheep each, so they would swap round. The shearer would shear one, the winder would wind one, then the winder would shear one, and so forth and so forth. And then eventually it's worked out, we had power and the likes, and it just went from there basically. So lots of different ways of shearing the woolly backs. And then when we did actually have power and moving, well, there was no pattern. It was just a matter of everyone just started shearing them where they're comfortable to shear them. And funny enough, they're actually originally strawn on stools. Okay, they're big triangle sort of stools, and you sat down and shore sheep with the blades and sort of rolled them over. Well, they even got tied up at some stages. They used to tie all their legs together and shear them like llamas. Tie them all up and they just start shearing all around them and get the job done that way. Talking about getting the job done. Mike Boyd, how's he going? 34.9. He'll be happy with that. The Welshman, he's in for the stopwatch there too, and he's 29.8. What does that leave us? Mr. Smith from Rakaya. A lot of great shearers have come out of Rakaya. By jolly to have.
Oh, come on, that's a bit of south stuff.
By jolly.
Come on, I've got to come in here and defend the north. Oh, I'm just looking at young Josh Baum down there. He's looking down on Paul Granger. Hey, it wasn't that long ago he was looking up to him. Now Mr. Granger's got to be careful and start calling him sir. Hey, no, it's good to see these young people up here, by crikey. They're all keen. They're chasing the almighty dollar. And it's all Grant Smith's son, by crikey. There we go. He's got a little bit of heritage there, and let's hope it doesn't get bogged down in it. He's got to be his own man as the shearer completes down the far end, Ricky Stevens. Out the last leg comes AJ Smith. Rocking it off that last leg now. Now he's let the head out, taking all the pressure off himself. Sitting it right against his shin. Down the chute. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the junior PGG Wrightson elimination rounds.
Thank you, John. We'll move right into the novice shearing semi-final, and we'll need those competitors down here ready to take the stand, please. I'll read the draw. Heat 1, Cologne McKinstry, Ruriwai Fox, Brody Horrell, Quinton Trass, Sam Davison, Connor Puha. Heat 2, Sarah Jane Reid, Declan Moran, James White, Kobe Kershaw, Ifan Owen, Joseph Gordon. Those are the 2 heats. We're about to run very shortly for the novice shearing semi-final. Just a call, please, for all senior wool handlers. All senior wool handlers, we want you up here now, please, to get a T-shirt and to let us know you're here. All senior wool handlers. Just a quick result here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Farmlands and Woolpacks New Zealand wool pressing pairs for the final. In order of qualification, Vinnie and Jeremy Goodyear, and they're against Jonathan and Cam Hicks from Martin. So congratulations to those 4 finalists. Thank you.